Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Pinball Playfield lighting. You ever notice on some games that it's super dark in the middle and you can't really see where you're shooting? I've got the ultimate solution for that, so stay tuned. So you guys might have seen my 2024 Texas Pinball Festival video, Mod Makers Edition, and I'll link it right here if you haven't. I was talking with Jimmy from 86 Pixels, and he had launched last year a new company called Pinlights. And what he's aiming to do is do a cost-effective version of Playfield lighting. So his first offering is Pinlights Classic Edition, and basically it offers a cool white and a warm white and also purple flashing UV for all your pop bumper effects and shaker effects and that sort of thing. And he has this slick, low-profile mount that won't destroy your artwork if you ever want to remove them from the game. So what it does, it goes in between your glass channel and your cabinet, and actually you don't need to stick anything to your artwork or your cabinet. And it just sits there snugly, and the pin lights magnetically attached to the side of the cabinet. Easy on and easy off. Another really cool feature about these is that you can actually disconnect the light bars with a simple quick connect at the back of the game. With the other brands, when you pull up your Playfield, you have to figure out what to do with these lights because they're all hardwired into the actual control board. With these, you can actually quickly disconnect them, pull them away from the game, do your work, and then put them back in. Easy peasy. So let's check out what's in the kit. Here's what's in our Pin Classic kit from Pinlights. We've got our controller board. We have our power supply that connects to AC power. We have our clip-on leads. One is for flashers and the other is for general illumination. These are extension cables for the triggers, cables that go from the controller board to our LED side lights. And over here is really cool. This is for Stern pinball machines, modern Sterns. This actually plugs into your shaker output port, and that gives you a trigger for your flashers. Really super easy installation. We also have a short extension cable. And for those of you that have like a Williams or Bally machine, older machines, these little connectors are for going into like a Molex. So if you wanted to tee off of something, you could just insert them into the back side of a Molex plug to get your connection. Really nice touch there. And then this end would connect to your alligator lead. Kind of like that. And that way you can tap off of a certain lighting circuit that you wanted to trigger your GI or flashers. This is the instructions for adding the Stern shaker motor trigger harness. And back over here we have zip ties to clean up all your wiring. And over here on the left, these are covers that you assemble to shield your controller board. This is the bottom cover, this is the top cover. You also have a hardware bag that has your standoffs and screws to build the two covers. And also in the hardware bag, you have your cable clamps that once we get into the game, we can go through and install those on the back, and that keeps your wiring harnesses from falling in the back of the game when you're working on it. And this is the star of the show. This is the Pinlights. They're in a sealed bag, so we'll get these open in a little bit when we go to install. I'll talk a little bit about some of the cool features these have. Now, these little metal pieces, these are an accessory upgrade. If you have artwork and you don't want to ruin your artwork, that's where these come into play. You can actually slide these into your glass channel, and then the magnets actually attach to this metal piece, leaving your artwork in perfect condition. So let's go ahead and do step one, which is assembling your controller board with the protective covers. You're gonna open up our bag here, and in the bag you'll see 2 isopropyl alcohol wipes, and these are our strain release for the wires. And then we have our 4 brass standoffs. So the first thing I wanna do is go ahead and peel off the paper backing on these Lexan pieces. And this is just an optional. If you don't want to pull the paper off, you don't have to. So now we can go ahead and start building. Line it up to make sure it's perfectly flush with the edges. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. We're gonna flip this upside down, and we're gonna run our 4 screws through, like so. And now we need to put our spacers on the back side of the board. Once all the screws drop through the holes, you know you've got it lined up. Okay, now you want to flip this over, but keep your fingers on the screws so they don't fall out. At this point, we can now go ahead and start screwing in our standoffs. So once these are all snug, we'll flip it over and we'll take our screwdriver and just tighten them up. You don't have to torque them down, but just a nice snug fit. So now we can do the top, which is much easier. The way this acrylic is cut, you kind of can put it two ways, but with this particular way, you're actually blocking your connectors right here. So if you have it going this way, you're actually blocking your two left connectors. So we need to spin it around to this direction. And now we have clear access to these two Molex plugs and these two. So now we just drop our screws in, give it a snug tighten, and we are done with this step. And that's what it looks like once it's assembled. So this keeps this controller nice and protected, also gives it some airflow so things don't get hot. Okay, let's head over to the game and start our wiring. And the first thing we're gonna need to do is shut off the power to the pinball machine. And next is open the coin door so we can get the glass off. So once you've got your glass and your lockdown bar removed, we're gonna need to clear out the balls because we're gonna need to get access underneath the playfield and also in the back box. In the kit, you're gonna find the power supply and the power cord. So we're gonna put these together and then go to our back box. So inside the back box, you'll see there's a service port here that has a plug, and that's where this guy is gonna plug into. Once we plug it in, we're gonna route it to the inside of the cabinet, and you'll see there's a slot right there for it to easily drop down into. This step is for modern Stern machines. One really cool thing about these Pinlights, it comes with this really cool adapter harness that ties into the shaker motor plug. And basically what we do is we plug this into CN16 here on the node board, and then the other end would then go on to the shaker. And this is your output for the flashers for the Pinlights. Now, if you have a Williams Ballet machine from the 90s or Jersey Jack and you wanted to add these lights, you could use the included clip leads in the kit to tie on to your favorite source for your trigger input for the lights. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in. As you're installing, the plugs have a little ridge on the top, and that faces up, and that will plug right into CN16 on the board. Then you're going to plug your shaker motor into the included Z connector, kind of like that. And this is ready to go. And then this is our trigger wire. And this is the extension cables that come with the kit. There's one for the flashers and one for the general illumination. So what we're going to do is come off this connector right here, which is a 2-pin JST. It'll plug into our extension cable, and then we're going to route it this way towards the controller. So if you guys are watching along, you're like, what the heck is this black thing in here? Well, I did a video on this. I'll link it right here in the description above. All this is a 100-watt micro power amp that powers the upgraded subwoofer that I put in here, and it is insane. So check out that video to learn all about that. So we're gonna go to the very back here. There's the easy way to catch GI lights. On X-Men, there's a couple that are red, blue, and then white. We want the white light. So we're gonna go here to the back panel and use our alligator clips to get our white GI trigger. This is our white LED right here. So all we need to do is hook these two alligator clips to each leg of the bulb. And what's cool is that it doesn't matter about polarity because it automatically will fix it on the control board that comes with the Pinlights. So we just need to move the heat shrink back a little bit to tie on. Come up from underneath so it's not in the way. And now we have our connector right here that we will connect up to our GI extension cable that comes in the kit. And again, these only can go in one way. And it clicks and we're in business. On the controller board, what's really cool, it's labeled, it says FL for flasher and then GI for general illumination. So we'll just connect up our GI plug that we just wired in to the GI port, and these can only go on one way. And then we're gonna grab our flasher that we did a minute ago and plug it in. And one other thing we need is to connect power. Go ahead and plug that in. The kit comes with 2 alcohol prep pads, and this is used for cleaning the surface so we can mount the strain relief clips that come with the kit, which are these guys right here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put them on each corner of the back panel of the playfield. So we're gonna put one about here, and then we're gonna put another one over here. So let's go ahead and clean those areas and get ready to mount these 2 strain reliefs. And you wanna make sure the surface is completely dry after you wipe down with these pads. Okay, they're both mounted. Okay, so that's done. One of the really cool things is that it's labeled on the unit for the right side and the left side. So let's go ahead and plug in our right side. Let's see, we've got lights here, and we'll do our left side. So these are an accessory you can get. They're called the low profile mounts. And what's super cool about these, and why I'm using them in this particular install, is because I don't have my inner side art yet. So it's just black. I'm waiting for Stern to come out with their official inside art. With these, I can just insert these in the glass channel, attach my Pinlights to them, and then when I do get my art, I can just easily just pull these out from the underneath the glass channel and install my artwork. Now, these also have double-sided sticky tape on the bottom side, so if you do want to make it a permanent mount to your cabinet, you could do that. Now, the Pinlights themselves, these are made out of metal that are powder coated, and they have cob lights. So what that means is that the lights themselves are a lot smaller and closer, and they have a diffusion layer on top, so you don't get all those LED segments reflecting off the chrome habit trails. So installing these low profile mounts couldn't be easier. I start with about 1 inch above the end of the apron right here. And you just push it right into the underneath the channel, the plastic glass channel and the cabinet wood. You just push it in. And that's it. I mean, pretty simple. So we're ready to install our lights. So since I'm not going to be using the removable magnet strip that would be taped to the side of the cabinet like this, I'm going to go ahead and just pull this away for now. And that exposes the magnet that's stuck to the actual Pinlights themselves. And all we have to do is, since it's magnetized and this piece is metal, it will just stick right on. And then we connect our connector in the back. Definitely a lot brighter. I'm gonna have to get into the app and look at the controls. So let's set up the app. We're gonna go to the Pinlights app, which is right there. We're going to add a game. And it just found the Pinlights, which is broadcasting a Wi-Fi signal. And we're going to tie into our Wi-Fi, logging in. Game name. I just started typing Uncanny and it found Uncanny X-Men, Premium LE or Pro. I have the Premium, so let's sync that. There we go. Let's see if that works. Yep, it just shut the lights off. Now we can turn those back on. Let's enter the settings. So Jimmy over at Pinlights has an in-depth walkthrough on the app. I'm not going to go through all the settings, but this is where our getting our blue hue from, I believe. Yeah. So that's the GI flasher mix. I can bring that up to give it some purple hues to it. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it kind of pretty much off and just have the white lights. And you have a warm light mix and a cool white mix. So right now the warm is completely off. Let's warm it up a little bit. That looks cool. Might bring that down a little bit, and then let's bring down our cool white a little bit. Very cool. Well, the app works, and that was super easy to do. And I did hear that he is coming out with a RGB version of these. So if you wanted to have like just a red light mix on here or a mix of any color in the rainbow, you can do that with the upcoming new release of their colored version of these lights.
These Pinlights are diffused for a seamless look across your entire playfield. Adjustable warm and cool white with UV flasher intensities. Easily dial in the right light tone for your game. Wi-Fi you can't beat the price. They take your dark game into the light, making it super bright and vibrant. The UV flashers are amazing. Tournament mode. Quickly disable GI flasher reactivity for a highly visible yet distraction-free playing experience. Pinlights are amazing. They make your game look super cool, and you can't beat the price. They take your dark game into the light, making it super bright and vibrant. The UV flashers are amazing. Quick connect light bar cables. Quickly disconnect your light bar so you can get them out of the way when working on the playfield without having to remove all of the cabling and the mechanics from the game. All units are assembled and tested in the USA. America, hell yeah! Yeah!
So you just seen how easy it was for me to install these. Hardly any tools required, really only a Phillips screwdriver. Everything else is included in the kit. And that shaker motor adapter harness makes installing the flasher circuit a breeze. And one of the best features about this is the price. They start at $179. You can get the add-on Invisimount system for it, which makes mounting to your cabinet a breeze. And it does not damage your artwork. And another cool thing I heard about is coming down the line, hopefully this year, he's gonna offer an RGB version, which red, green, blue, so you can mix all these colors together, as well as cool white and warm white, which is gonna be amazing. And what's really cool, first for this segment, is going to be trigger input. So you can actually trigger certain aspects of the game, like a switch or a spinner, to do a certain, like a strobe effect or something interesting color-wise. That's gonna be a game changer for pinball effects lighting. So that's it for this video today. I hope you like it, and I'll drop all the information down below in the description where you can get your very own set of Pinlights for your games. I've just installed them on 5 of my games. I like it that much. Great product, great support, super easy app to use and to pair up and get ready to go. So until then, keep flipping.